Hello everyone, and I have the honor to be with Dr. Rajat Gupta today.
Thank you.
And he's done very well. He secured rank 47 in JIPMER December 2019 exam. Heartiest congratulations,
Thank you, ma'am.
Rajat. कैसा लग रहा है Rajat?
Awesome. It has been my dream to do rock in JIPMER exam, and in the first attempt only.
Yes. And I think this is an amazing achievement.
Thank you,
Rajat is also pursuing his internship right
Yes,
now.
ma'am.
And to get into the central institutes
Yes, ma'am.
is with a double-digit rank is very good.
Thank you, ma'am.
Right. So Rajat has been a foundation student with us, and he's from UCMS, and he's followed it up with a test and discussion course in his internship year.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. And Rajat, you are here because we want to listen out on what strategy made you crack the exam with a great rank.
Yes,
Right.
ma'am.
So अगर हम रजत शुरू करें पहली चीज़, what do you think is the most important thing when you're preparing for central institutes?
First, we have to keep faith in ourselves that we can crack the central institutes.
That's
Because many of we are average students, and only little bit of us are topper students. People think that only topper students can crack central institutes, but it's not like that. On average students, if they have the concept, if they have the faith in them, if they can do the hard work, they can basically crack the central institutes.
I think Rajat is saying a very motivating thing. बहुत ही अच्छी बात करी
Thank you,
है
ma'am.
Rajat ने, because this is the first thing that comes to anybody's mind who starts
Yes, ma'am.
preparing. उनको लगता है कि they rule themselves out basically even
Yeah, ma'am.
before they give their best shot. Right. So yes, with hard work and with dedication, you can reach anywhere
Yes,
you
ma'am.
want to, and Rajat has proved it. I'm sure he is a very hardworking student. He's being very modest
ma'am.
and calling himself average, but I think what is the highlight is that he's hardworking, and whatever he has done has brought him here.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So I would congratulate you again on
Thank you,
your
ma'am.
achievement and your dedication to it as well. So now Rajat, tell me how do you think starting early played a good role in your preparation? Because internship is a heavy phase,
Yes, ma'am.
and had you not started early,
I
do you
would
think
have.
that things would have been different right now?
Had I not started early, I would have doubted myself. I would have considered that I will write my mid-year exams, because
Yes.
I don't have any much hard work behind my studies, and I have not completed my syllabus. I have not revised 1, 2, 3 times, which basically we all think before writing an exam. We think that we have to do 1 to 2 revisions, so that we can't make any mistakes while doing the paper. But basically, silly mistakes are countered by your hard work, your revisions, but it was also countered by your luck. If you are doing hard work, then your luck will always be good. If you are mixing all the ingredients, like doing MCQs, making revision of doing revision notes of revision, and if you are following the club, you are following the informative post by teachers, then you are on the right track.
Right, and again a wise piece. I think Rajat is coming up with all wise words today.
Thank you, ma'am.
Right, and something very nice that he said, which I also tell a lot of students when I take a class, that everyone can turn themselves into lucky people. And what is being lucky is that you are doing the right things, and you're doing them with right intentions.
Yes, ma'am.
And you will sooner or later reach where
Your
you
goals.
intend to. That's wonderful. And now Rajat, अगर हम शुरू से इस साल के शुरू से शुरुआत करें, so आपने foundation years में you had a good set of notes.
Yes, ma'am.
Right, and now when you were starting with your internship, how important those notes were for you?
At the start of internship, I didn't have notes of all the subjects, so I did the subjects which along the TND,
Okay.
and the subjects which I had I didn't have notes. I made the notes on my own with my own handwriting. I made sure that I don't read photocopied notes,
So
because
despite the fact कि आप internship कर रहे थे,
Yes,
आपको
ma'am.
पता था आपके पास limited time है, but you
Yes,
still
ma'am.
took down कि you are going to do it by yourself,
Yes,
which
ma'am.
is again good, because that's what he was, I think, trying to stress on.
I watched interviews of many toppers. They said that it takes time, but it is a good investment.
Yes, that's true. Right. So, जब हम TND की तैयारी कर रहे थे, maybe first you can tell in short what was your strategy this year to crack the exams?
First is to start early, as you said, and I followed the DAMS TND schedule.
Okay.
And the schedule in between the test, I used to read the notes from the notes of that subject one time, and then revise it as much as I could.
Okay.
And did some questions of that subject.
Okay.
And I made sure that I attend all the TND classes. Even if my duties are clashing with it, I did attend half of it or some of it, and attended rest part with in any other center, or I used to read my friends' notes to
Yes.
cover up.
Yes, because you know
Yes,
when we are doing these test and discussion sessions for you, we hold them for 3 consecutive days. ताकि अगर आप एक जगह मिस भी कर दो तो you can attend the same session tomorrow also, day after also, depending on what duties you have.
I did that for 2 subjects.
Right. So
Anatomy
which is nice, which already shows that you are dedicated enough. So even if you are missing on something, you ensured कि आप कहीं पे जाके वो ज़रूर attend कर लो. That's wonderful. And मुझे ये भी बताओ, is it important to give the test? बहुत सारे बच्चे रजत टेस्ट नहीं देते हैं and they
Yes,
would
ma'am.
simply sit for the discussion. So उसका भी importance I would want
It
to
will
know
be
from
a
you.
great mistake if you don't give the test, because your knowledge is always supplemented by the test you give, by the MCQs you do, because God, because you may be surprised by the same MCQ you have done. It may happen. In Central Institutes also, it may happen.
Yeah.
That same MCQs are in the you have done while practicing. They are on your screen while doing the real paper.
Right.
Because some DAMS question book bank has many questions. Some of them were repeated in AIMS,
Right.
which you must have seen.
And also, you know, जब आप खुद से पेपर करते
Yes,
हो
ma'am.
in the environment, you're going to put your brain. So
Yes, ma'am.
by exclusion, by putting your concepts, by ruling out, you are, you know, trying to
Yes, ma'am.
memorize things, and it ensures कि वो गलती आप दोबारा नहीं करोगे किसी और एग्जाम में. So which is very rightly said. The more diligently you do the paper,
Yes, ma'am.
you know, the more it is going to stay with you as well. Also, I want to ask you, beta, jo maybe your juniors will also
Yes,
ask you, कि when you used to come back from the test and discussion session,
Yes, ma'am.
उसके बाद did you analyze the paper and did you make some short notes for yourself, or did you put them in the original foundation notes that you have?
I didn't put them in the original foundation course.
Okay.
And I after the TND class, I used to revise the TND notes made on that test,
Okay.
on that discussion.
Okay.
And then I used to get on to the next subject, and I didn't make any short notes, but the important point like updates I used to add in my routine notes.
Acha, how did you do your strength weakness analysis?
Strength weakness analysis is basically done by doing the test, the GTs. If you start early, then you can see what subjects are you weak in.
Yeah, so this was again something I wanted to ask
ma'am.
you. कि बहुत सारे बच्चे शुरू year में they
Yes,
don't
ma'am.
want to give the tests, right? So they would think कि we'll give GT once we are done with the course.
ma'am.
So what is your take on that?
Doing GTs, I looked at the Diksha Sikri ma'am's post in the club, which she posted in early part of the year, like in March. So I started giving the GTs in April.
Okay.
And I only revised 3 subjects till
then.
till my first GT.
Right. And did you
then,
do well?
Yeah, my score was 668.
Okay.
And then it started. I got improvement in
Yeah,
next
but the good
GTs.
thing is that you got to know your baseline.
Yes,
and
ma'am,
you knew कि
baseline.
इसको मुझे ऊपर push करना है अब. Right.
The key is if you are doing GTs regularly, you have to improve in every GT.
Yeah.
And she basically write it in her post that you can give GT like in a very ruthless manner, that you are using all your knowledge and you are guessing and making logical guesses.
Yes.
So you can know that what are you how are your strength at guessing.
Yes.
Are your guesses always what percentage of your guesses are right?
I think that is also that is called as exam skill, and
Yes,
which is
ma'am.
again very, very important. You know, there are two kind of people. There will be people who are able to do those intelligent guesses,
ma'am.
and you know, suppose in 5 questions they do those because it's not really a sheer guesswork. It is
Yes,
from
ma'am.
whatever baseline information you have and your basics and your concepts, you put them to use. So those people tend to do correct questions. There's another set who try these things but they don't do it right, they'll end up
Yeah.
with wrong. So you have to know which category you belong to, because you should follow the same track in the real exam as well, right?
When I'm saying that I'm making logical guesses, I don't mean that I don't know any of the
Yeah,
option.
exactly.
I rule out two options, then I analyze, then I give the guess.
Yes, बिल्कुल वो सर they have to be intelligent guesses.
Yes,
It's
ma'am.
not like कि मैं बस A लगा दिया
हाँ,
या B
ma'am.
लगा दिया, है ना? ये बहुत ही ज़रूरी बात. And then you have to know to which category you belong,
Yes, ma'am.
because you have to stick to your what suits you and do the same thing in the real exam as
Yes,
well.
ma'am.
राइट अच्छा मुझे ये भी बताओ आपने टेस्ट शेड्यूल फॉलो करते रहे एंड आई ऑल्सो वांट टू आस्क यू हियर अबाउट द क्वालिटी ऑफ द टेस्ट पेपर
Okay, ma'am.
because the test paper is an opportunity for you to know what are the probable topics, what can be asked next year in the exams, or what has been asked so far in the exams.
Okay,
So
ma'am.
do you think that the test papers were good enough to give you that insight into the subject?
Yes, test papers were very very complex and very good. They comprised of questions which have appeared in last year papers,
Yeah.
and topics, very high yielding topics of that subject,
Mhm.
and specially picked up by faculty. And also level of questions is quite higher than NEET level, and some of them are also of Central Institute levels.
राइट एंड आई ऑल्सो वॉन्ट टू आस्क बच्चे हियर कि जब हमने फाउंडेशन कोर्स किया और जब हमने एग्जाम देना है तो उसमें देर इज अ गैप ऑफ 3 years, राइट?
ma'am.
So things get updated and changed.
Yes, ma'am.
So now the first tendency of the child is to try and collect more and more information.
Yes, ma'am.
So did you rely on the updates provided to you in the form of test and discussion, because we will always cover those kind of new things?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, did you fetch yourself a lot of new things and added them to your original notes?
I use only the test and discussion notes,
Okay.
and whatever is updated is usually posted by the teachers on the club.
Right.
So I was always active on club.
Okay.
And
I think this is important because you should know, or one should know, when to restrict themselves for new information.
ma'am.
Because practically speaking, medical science is really, really vast.
yes, ma'am.
And you can go on reading as much as you want. But the idea is that as of now, you're preparing for entrance exams and you're not doing an MD in 19 subjects.
Yes, ma'am.
Right? अब मुझे एक और चीज़ बताओ रजत, which I think your juniors will also ask you. As compared to beginning of the year and as compared to end of the year, what would you give the percentage for notes and MCQ practice? मतलब ज़्यादा टाइम आप नोट्स में लगाते थे या ज़्यादा टाइम MCQ में लगाते थे?
You can say I gave it varies, but it doesn't vary too much. 60-40, 70-30.
Okay.
70 like 60 notes, 40 MCQs.
Okay.
And some of may prefer 70 notes, 30 MCQs.
Yes.
Based on the quality of revision of notes.
Yes.
And because sometimes we don't we miss the topics they are listed in the notes, so the words that are hidden in our notes,
Yeah, the keywords.
they are enforced by the MCQs.
Right.
So we use the MCQs to reinforce our notes.
Yes, that's again very
in our
important
mind.
thing. So he said 60 to 70 and 30 to 40 ratio
Yes.
for notes and MCQs. Now the reason I asked you this question was
Yes, ma'am.
because a lot of students want, if they ask you, how about a retrograde study? How about starting with MCQs and then learning the theory from it?
MCQs may be made of new topics every year, so I basically preferred reading notes and doing MCQs, and did MCQs in the first reading only, so
Okay.
that if I revise next time, I don't need to do the MCQs of the topic.
That's
I
great.
will I will add the points of MCQs which are not in my notes. I will add them in my notes, so that I don't have to open the question bank or any book from which I have done my note questions.
That's wonderful, because I think जब समय कम हो, like
Yes,
in
ma'am.
internship, it is very important to restrict and
Yes,
do the
ma'am.
right thing.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
I think you chose the notes and you just were putting a
Yes.
few extra things there
Yes,
and,
ma'am.
and stuck to it.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Now, Rajat, I would want to ask you, beta, when you finished your schedule of test and discussion, how did you plan your revision from that point?
When I finished the test and discussion, my test and discussion finished in September first week.
Okay.
and then I started my revision. My revision started with the first, second year subjects like first, second, third, fourth year. My revision strategy was simple,
Okay.
and I revised my TND notes first because they were high yielding, and then I revised my routine notes.
Makes sense. Yes.
And I did the revision of those subjects more faster than I did my first reading.
That is
So that-
again also a very important point, that the revision should take less time
Yes,
as
ma'am.
compared to your first reading, and in fact all successive revisions should get
Keep
shortened.
getting shorter, yes, ma'am.
Right, that's wonderful. And बच्चे, I wanted to ask कि क्या आपने CBT दिए हैं?
I gave all the CBTs because I knew that I had to have a good question practice. So and the number of exposure I get to the real exam, because they are simulating the real exam. The number of times I sit for 3 hours
Yeah.
and give the paper, irrespective of how my energy level is, I have to use my max brains to get that MCQ solved correctly. And so I gave all the CBTs, and for CBT I was only a starter because I had revision of only 4 or 5 subjects, and that was AIMS pattern.
Yeah.
I got 81 rank in that.
Wow.
I was
That was 81 at that
ma'am.
time. That's
I
wonderful.
was motivated, and
Yes, I was going to ask you that. So, did it tell you that whatever you have done so far has been
it tell me
is
that
probably on the
I'm
right track?
I'm on the right track, yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
and I think
So
so it works both ways,
Yes,
If
ma'am.
you do well, it is like a positive reinforcement that you are on the right track and you need to push more.
yes, ma'am.
And if you don't do that well, then also I think it is a reinforcement. It's
Yes,
all
ma'am.
about how what you want to perceive, because at least it gives you an insight at the right time.
Yes, ma'am.
Rather than having that insight after an exam, it is better to have it in the mid-year,
Yes, ma'am.
and then so that you can make correct
that we can
changes in
adapt
the
to it,
strategy.
yes, ma'am.
Yes, that's great, and I think that is simply wonderful.
Thank you.
And then बच्चे
Then-
close to the exam, अगर आप मुझे बताओगे, आप let's say from October onwards, how did you change your strategy? कैसे पढ़ाई की, क्योंकि एग्जाम
Ma'am,
आने वाले थे
yes, ma'am.
नवंबर में.
I first very fast revision of notes, and and near the exams we have our mocks and GTs, and the number of GTs and mocks you give before the exam, you get the hang of questions which you will be facing, and which will be determining your future. So you get to be serious while giving them.
Yeah.
Not like earlier you were giving GTs ruthlessly, and you have to add more strategy, more thinking, more that you have to restrain yourself from your negative marking.
Yes. And Rajat, I also want to ask कि अब अगर ये तो strategy थी कि आपने fast revision शुरू कर दिया, and now let's go even more close to the exam. Let's say 15-20 days before the exam. What did you do in that period?
I revised my AIMS capsule.
Okay.
I made notes of all the subjects included in AIMS capsule. In those routine subjects, I did them, and DVT notes. Notes I revised before every Central Institute exam.
And do you think they were helpful?
Yes,
in the
ma'am, they were
institute?
helpful.
Okay.
Questions were repeated in PGI and AIMS,
Okay.
and also JIPMER.
Okay. और अभी और फिर अगर जैसे कि आई एम श्योर ये बच्चे पूछेंगे आपसे, आपके जूनियर्स भी, कि एग्जाम से 2 दिन पहले क्या पढ़ना है?
Ma'am, before the exams, I revised the topics which have high weightage in that Central
Okay. So
Institute
you went
exams.
selective now.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Because like in JIPMER, physiology questions were very much asked, and I saw Sandeep sir's video. He stated that physio has very high weightage.
Okay.
He doesn't know the reason, because so I revised my physio notes,
Okay.
and I did JIPMER last year papers from eMedicos,
Right.
and I did papers as much as I could cover, and that's all. You have to give previous year papers of that institute. Like if you're going to write AIMS in next week, you should cover at least 2-3 previous year AIMS paper.
Yeah.
And if you are writing PGI, yeah, they are given to us. You can check that in eMedicos. it's you won't know. You will only know at the time of exam, because we have to search for it.
Yeah. Okay, that's wonderful. और अब अगर मैं आपसे पूछूं कि कुछ जिपमर के लिए आप anything special that you would want to tell your
Yes, ma'am.
juniors, that how to go about if somebody is especially looking for JIPMER exam?
JIPMER is, as all of us know, that JIPMER is notorious for asking genes, rare genes.
Yeah.
And so if you can, you should follow post. You should be more specific to genes of high yielding syndromes.
Okay.
And the depth of genes, like we can know the DJOD syndrome, chromosome 22, but JIPMER goes to the extent that what P or Q arm, what after it, like 22q11. That so JIPMER will be very cruel in this.
Yeah, they do ask. Although this time
Yes, ma'am.
the number
This time
questions were a little less.
But we
But
don't
yes,
know.
generally that's
In
the
May
trend for
they
JIPMER.
may give.
Yeah,
so
that's right. And any special subjects that you think that students should do before appearing for JIPMER exam?
JIPMER, medicine, surgery are very much asked,
Okay.
and tough questions basically. And
Yeah,
and
they
in
do
surgery,
ask clinical
Yes,
long
ma'am.
questions
Yes, ma'am.
in medicine.
In
Yeah.
surgery this time there was the question level was much easy, but in medicine it was tough.
Okay.
And so you should revise the AIMS capsule of medicine, and go through all the notes for one time, fast revision, and the volatile areas. Your volatile areas you have to mark.
Right.
Uh,
And how did you tackle negative marking during the paper? I mean, did you go aggressive in the paper, or were you defensive in the paper?
I wouldn't aggressive in the paper, because
Okay.
I know that when I go aggressive, my marks go high.
That's great.
And,
So that's what you have. Each one of you have to know that,
Yes, ma'am.
whether you are the aggressive types or you're the defensive types. As we discussed previously as
Yes,
well,
ma'am.
that if you're able to make those intelligent guesses by ruling out two options, and you're doing them right, then you should go ahead.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Wonderful. And anything motivating that you would want to say to people listening to you?
Motivating, yes, faculty posts, motivating posts, especially I am motivated by your posts very much.
Okay.
Your posts are very much motivating, the most motivating of all faculties.
That's so sweet. Thank you so
And
much.
thank you. And I attended DVT, and after each session every faculty were posting motivating quotes, and they were also incorporating them in between the subjects. So we will be, our spirits are high while studying, while attending the DVT. So it was very long in duration, but I never felt tired in the
Yes,
DVT.
because we at DAMS believe that it's you have to you give
Yes,
all
ma'am.
round support to the child,
Yes, ma'am.
because it is a tough phase for you all.
It is a tough
and-
phase for all, yes, ma'am.
And yes, academics definitely you need help,
Yes,
but
ma'am.
I think we all in times of stress need
Yes,
that
ma'am.
mental support as well. And whichever way we can
Yes.
be with each other, I think it goes a long way. So yes, each one of you, I think he started on a very positive note itself. He told you that the first thing you have to do is not to rule yourself out.
Yes, ma'am.
And whatever exam it is, just prepare and go and give your best.
Yes,
And he has proven that with consistent hard work, even if you have less time in hand, you can still make it happen.
Yes, ma'am.
Right, so which is absolutely amazing.
Thank
So thank you so much, Rajat. It was
Thank
a
you.
pleasure to have you here. And what branch do you want to pursue, beta?
I want to do surgery,
Okay.
and after it I won't stop, and I will do MCH, and I think that I will love to have DAM support in cracking MCH
That
exams.
is, we would definitely love to do that. So we
Thank
do
you, ma'am.
have MCH courses as well as DM courses,
Yes, ma'am.
and yes, there's no stopping. Once
Yes,
you get into a specialization or a super specialization, you would do really, really well.
Yes.
So we wish you a very, very bright
Thank you, ma'am.
future ahead, and may you excel in whatever you do in life. Thank
you.
you so much for being here.
Thank you, ma'am.